Hare Krishna Mataji, class ilva?
Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranams. Mataji, the previous class took longer to end, so that's why our class is a little late in starting.
Sorry
Because
Mataji, it's okay, no
devotees.
issue.
Yeah, because
Hare
devotees were
Krishna
still.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Dhanvat Pranam, Mataji. So I was just waiting for everyone to join so we could start. Let's start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्युति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So Hare Krishna, thank you all so much for joining. We got a bit delayed because the previous class ended late. So no worries, we'll start now. So we are on the fifth verse of Shri Updeshamrit, Nectar of Instruction. And this verse is talking about how our dealings should be towards various devotees. So like we have read earlier also that there are three classes of devotees, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari. So this verse is telling about how our behavior should be towards the various classes of devotees. So let's start with recitation of the verse. Would someone like to read the verse? Anyone want to read the verse?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Swati Mataji and then Rekha Mataji both can read. Swati Mataji, you can start. Hare Krishna. Then Rekha
Mataji,
Mataji.
Rekha Mataji. Continue Mataji, Rekha Mataji. Afterwards,
Okay. Okay, Rekha Mataji, you can start.
Okay Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनस्द्रियेता दीक्षस्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तम् ईशम् शुश्रूष्यया भजनविघ्नम् अनन्यम् अन्या निन्दति शून्यहृदम् ईप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji. कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसेन्द्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तम् ईशं शुश्रूष्य या भजनविघ्नम् अनन्यम् अन्य निन्दति शून्यहृदम् ईप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. So we can actually read this verse like we read Brahma Samhita verses, na? कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा ध्रियेत दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशम् शुश्रूषया भजनविज्ञमनन्यमन्या निन्दादिशून्यहृदमीप्सितसङ्गलब्ध्या. Yeah, so very beautiful verse.
Tune we not got Mataji because
Yeah,
of this.
Mataji. So because every verse has a different meter, so this one we can read like Brahma Samhita. Okay, but thank you so much. So the translation goes as follows: that one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So, like I mentioned, this verse is telling us about the different categories of devotees. How do we associate? How do we approach each devotee? Because there will be so many devotees in our congregation, and everyone will have a different they will have a different approach. So then, how do we know? Because we cannot have the same same kind of a relationship with everyone, But it is also very important to understand the right Vaishnav etiquette so that we don't commit any offenses. And if we learn the correct way of approaching and behaving with the various Vaishnavas, then that really helps us advance in our devotional life. Okay. So let's start reading from this point. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime. So would someone like to read from here?
May I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Archana Mataji, you start, and then Uma Devi Mataji can continue.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes.
The
please start.
chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.69, it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishta Jana Krame Krame Tehno Bhaktaha Ibe Uttama. Mataji, should I read the translation or shall I?
Yes, Mataji, you can read this paragraph.
Okay, Mataji. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called is a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinama, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttamadhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically everyone of us is fallen. But because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of fallen. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Pranams, Mataji. Yes, Uma Devi Mataji, you can
Hare
continue.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat pranams.
Pranam.
When Srila Satyaraja Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yanra muke suni ekabara, Krishna nama se pujya shreshta sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man of the common group. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 15.106. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Ateva yanra mukhe eka Krishna nama seita Vaishnava kariha tanhara sammana. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna or who by practice likes the chant Krishna's names should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such at least within one's mind. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 15.111. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great teachers, have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. Shall I
Hare
continue,
Krishna.
Mataji? Okay.
No, Mataji, let's discuss these points. Thank
Okay,
you so
okay.
much. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada is telling that the chanting of the names of Lord Krishna is so great that with that, if we are chanting offenselessly, yes, we have to be very careful that we are avoiding the offenses, the 10 offenses. And that is why in the morning we read the 10 offenses, then we chant around so that we are very cautious. And it's not that just in the morning we remember and then during the day we forget, because these 10 offenses, we tend to make these offenses when our consciousness is not right. So it's not just that it's to the 10 lines that we need to remember, and then at some juncture in our life those things will come and we have to avoid them. It's a complete behavioral change that we have to bring in ourselves. And it's not that we keep two separate lives, that we have a materialistic life and we are one person there, and with devotees we are another person. Carrying this kind of a dual life is very difficult. So the change should come in our whole personality. Like if we have this tendency of criticizing others, fault finding in general, then there is a very good chance that we'll bring that in our devotional life with devotees as well. So we have to change ourselves internally so that we don't do these things as a habit. So when we come to in this association of devotees, then it will be our nature not to criticize others, not to do any fault finding, or giving respects to our guru, giving respects to shastras, having faith in the holy name. So it's a complete change in consciousness that we need to bring. So if we are chanting like that, if we are chanting offenselessly, then Prabhupada is saying that he can certainly gradually elevate to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. So that understanding, that is the Uttama level understanding. Because yes, we know theoretically many of us, but at least speaking about myself, do we really have that full conviction that there is no difference between the Lord and the holy name? That is a very high level to reach. Once we have that understanding, then we'll never be sleepy during japa. We'll never be careless during our chanting. But it's a gradual process where we need to change ourselves and elevate our consciousness so that we reach that level where we are actually fully convinced, we know, we understand that there is no difference between the names of the Lord and the Lord himself. And Prabhupada is saying that one who has reached such an understanding, that means one who has reached that Uttam level should certainly, should be very much respected by the neophyte devotees. And one should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So our chanting is of utmost importance. That is what is actually going to elevate our consciousness to reach that level. Now, when we are reading this verse, we have to understand that the purpose behind this verse is not to keep categorizing devotees, that when we go to our temple or when we go to our preaching centers or in a congregation of devotees, we are just constantly putting every devotee, under our radar and categorizing them into Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttam, and, put them in these pigeonhole kind of categories. That's not the motivation or the purpose behind this verse. It's firstly for us to make improvement, for us to understand where we are standing, and then trying to improve ourselves, and in general understanding others and offering respect accordingly. So the motivation or the purpose is not to judge others and categorize them, but the motivation should be that I should be offering correct respect to all the Vaishnavas. My etiquette should be very, very proper so that we don't make offenses. So it's not to pigeonhole devotees in different categories. It's if we have a grudge against someone said something to us, then we just categorize them as Kanishta, and then that's it. And if I really like someone, then I put them in a different category, and in this way I'm constantly just categorizing them. No, the purpose is not to make offenses, so we learn the correct etiquette, we learn how to properly offer respects to all the devotees. So by respecting devotees correctly, we make spiritual advancement. So it is very, very important to understand and implement the teachings from this verse. Now, in the previous verse, we had read about six loving exchanges, between devotees. And one must know the proper persons with whom to reciprocate in those six ways. So, the kind of Vaishnava that should be chosen as a friend and how one should deal with different kind of Vaishnavas is the subject matter of this verse. Now, if someone who is very, very senior, in a place of authority, and also in their devotion, their level of seniority is more, we'll have a different kind of relationship with them versus someone who is more a contemporary for us. So we have to understand, and that way we have to make friends and then offer respects and be in that position with the devotees. But the point that has to be understood, which we read in this verse also, is that all devotees should be respected. Right? That is very, very important. It's not that, if someone we think is a Kanishta, then we just don't look at them, and we say bad words to them, we disrespect them in a certain way. No, every devotee has to be respected. But in order to make spiritual advancement, we should associate with serious devotees and distance ourselves from casual association. Like there will be some devotees who are coming to the temple, but they may not be interested in reading Shastra so much, or they may not be interested in doing many services. So yes, we still have to respect these devotees because they are still coming to the temple and they are still chanting. But if we just keep associating with them, then our attitude will also become very casual. So we don't want that. But when we are with some devotees who are very serious in chanting, in doing services, in reading Shastra, understanding scriptures, when we are with them, then we also feel very motivated. So that's why it's very, very important to associate with serious devotees. Now, Kanishta Adhikaris, the devotees at the Kanishta level, they are more, inclined to worship only the deity. Right? Their relationship with the devotees will not be that great, because for them it's the deity that is the most important, right? And they are chanting, and they are coming in the association, so they are still very respectable for us. But like I said, that their faith is still soft. It's unsteady. So we have to understand, if we are at the Kanishta level and we keep associating with Kanishta level devotees, then where will be our motivation to improve? So we have to associate with more senior devotees, more serious devotees. So Madhyam level, that's the next level where their love for the Lord is there, their love for the devotees is there, they're very friendly with the devotees, and they are not at all envious. So we see there is a lot of difference, in level coming to the Madhyam level. And we should all constantly be attempting to at least reach the Madhyam level from wherever we are. There, where we are friendly with all the devotees, we are respectful towards all the devotees. And there is a certain level of seriousness that is there in the Madhyam level, because one is totally fixed up in Krishna consciousness, right? And there is knowledge of Shastra. May not be able to explain Shastra that well to others, but then there is a deep faith in Shastra that is there in this stage, and they are undeterred. So if we are still in a stage that where, even small, small things provoke us, and small, small things make us doubt our scriptures or the path of bhakti, then we have to change that. And we have to come to this stage where we are completely undeterred. We are completely faithful. So that is very, very important. And of course, the Uttam stage is where there is, they are totally uncritical of anybody. They are totally pure. They have reached that correct level of understanding of Shastra. They're also preaching. They are also able to convert the hearts of others, and they are really in in a way, in a state where they are able to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. They are our gurus. So it's a very, very elevated stage, the Uttam Adhikari stage. And now, when we are trying to understand where we are, we should see the whole picture. See, there are many characteristics mentioned for Uttam Adhikari also, right? Now, if we see ourselves and we think, oh, yeah, I have firm faith. Yeah, I am also uncritical. Yeah, these two, three things are there in me also. So I must be a Uttam Adhikari level devotee. But that's not the right way to see it. We have to see the whole picture. So in Nectar of Instruction, there are some indications of an Uttam Adhikari given, but Uttam Adhikari has many other characteristics, not just these characteristics which we are reading, but many other characteristics. There are other characteristics also. Nectar of Devotion also gives very advanced characteristics of an Uttam Adhikari. So that is a very, very high state, and we should never, artificially start thinking that I am at that level, because that's a very advanced level. But the point is that wherever we are, we have to really make an attempt to go further. We should not be stagnating in bhakti. Okay. And here, Srila Prabhupada is quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela that one whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, but by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first class devotee. So we should not just become satisfied that, okay, now I have started coming to the ISKCON temple. I'm part of the congregation. I got my bead bag. I'm chanting. Yeah, okay. I have started following some of the rules and regulations. Fine. I don't need to do anything more. There is always more to do. And that is what we should always keep as our motivation. We should always be looking forward and not just remain stuck in one place. And Prabhupada is saying that everyone does begin at the neophyte stage. That is natural. But if one finishes chanting the prescribed numbers of Hari Nam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform of Uttam Adhikari. So we have to, first of all, keep increasing our rounds, at least come to the level of 16 rounds, and not just the number, but the quality also should be improving. It's not that I've gone from 4 to 8 to 12 to 16, but I'm still lost when I'm chanting or I'm doing something else, talking to someone else, TV is on, or I have the phone in my hand and I'm chanting and somehow finishing my 16 rounds. I mean, that is still good because at least the person is chanting, but we know that that is not the best. There is more that we can do and there is more that we should do. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is saying that his Guru Maharaj used to say that unless one chants 64 rounds, he's considered a patita. But Prabhupada has made it so simple for us. He has brought that 64 down to 16. And that also we find so difficult to do. So there is a lot of change, at least speaking about myself, that needs to be done in the quality of our chanting. Okay, and this Prabhupada, this change or this concession Prabhupada gave, because he says that in people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beads. So Prabhupada knew that what was the circumstance, what was the place like, what was the consciousness of the people, and in Kali Yuga, how everyone, the attention span is so less. And now with mobile phones, our attention span has gone even lesser. So that's why, when we see Prabhupada's lectures, if you see the lectures given in Western countries were always like, shorter lectures where he was like to the point, start, make the point, end, because he knew that the attention span was limited. Versus, the lectures Prabhupada used to give in India, they were longer lectures. Okay? So Prabhupada gave this concession because of the circumstance at that time. And also, Prabhupada said that you should be engaged in other services. So it's not like I have total free time, but okay, 16 rounds has been said, so I just do 16 rounds and rest of the day I'm just doing all kinds of things which are just wasting my time and not really services of Krishna. So if we have that kind of free time, then we should chant more. 16 rounds is just the minimum. And always that effort should be there, that we should be improving the quality, that should always be there, that is my focus increasing, and am I able to sit for longer periods and chant? So that's why the morning chanting is so much prescribed, because at that time the satoguna is more. There are lesser distractions around us. So if we can really make use of that time, that is the best. So Prabhupada has given us this very, he's made everything very simple for us. Like, devotees say that when a child is very small, then the mother, she makes the food very soft. Plus, she mashes it also. Like, for our children, if we are very young kids, we boil the apple, then we strain the apple, give it to them. We make soup, very, very soft soup. We give it to them. Even if it's a fruit, a banana also we'll mash and give them. Strawberry also we'll mash and give them. We'll make it everything very easy for them to eat. So that's Prabhupada's love for us, that he has made everything very soft and simple. But we have to take that now, sincerely take that. And then Prabhupada is saying that one will definitely make advancement if one is following this process. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that a person who simply chants the holy name of Krishna once becomes perfect and should be regarded as a Vaishnava. So Krishna's names are so powerful that we have to understand that if someone is chanting the name sincerely even once, that is also very great. Now all this practice we are doing so that that one Harinam comes from our mouth in a very pure state. So we are trying to purify ourselves so that we are able to take that one pure Harinam. Okay. And Srila Rupa Goswami has said in his Updeshamrit, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. That means when one is situated on the neophyte platform, one cannot understand the devotional ingredients of a pure unalloyed devotee. However, when the novice engages in devotional service, especially in deity worship, and follows the order of a bona fide spiritual master, he is a pure devotee. Anyone can take advantage of hearing about Krishna consciousness from such a devotee and thus gradually become purified. In other words, any devotee who believes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord is a pure devotee, even though he may be in the neophyte stage. By his association, other may also become Vaishnavas. So this Prabhupada has written in a purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 1506. So even when someone is new, but they do get that faith in the name of Krishna, then we have to consider them that they're very, very elevated. So it's not just the number of years. Okay, someone has just started coming. It is possible that their bhakti was so pure in their previous birth. For some reason, they had to take another birth. But some devotees are there who just spent a few years, but then they have that faith in the holy name. So we have to give them that kind of respect. Then it's not just okay. They joined the temple after I joined, so they are still Kanishta and I am elevated. It's not like that. We have to see their quality of bhakti. Okay, and these things, like I said, that it's a change in our behavior. We have to take Krishna consciousness very sincerely, chant around very sincerely, and let go of all the negativities, the bad qualities, and like criticism, And if we see at Uttam stage, there is no criticism at all. If we see these advanced devotees, there are many times they are in very provoking situations where people say lots of blasphemous things to them also, but they just take it so coolly. They never lose their calm, and they never tend to criticize others. So that should be our motivation, our north star. That should constantly keep guiding us where we want to go. At that level, when they are in the Uttam level, we have to understand that they will be doing very high level services also. So definitely there will be difference of opinion. We cannot say that all these advanced devotees who are preaching, who are expanding our mission, they never have any difference of opinion. No, they will have a difference in opinion, but they know that how to bring everything together and maintain that culture of respect, so that the movement progresses very smoothly. See, because there are many different devotees will have different definitions of success in bhakti. Right, within Srila Prabhupada's mission also, Prabhupada has given many things. There is deity worship, there is book distribution, there is following Varnashram Dharma, there is opening of temples. So there are many things and all definitions are valid. So someone may be more inclined towards one particular aspect Others may be more inclined towards other aspects. Like we see in the sannyasis, the respected sannyasis of ISKCON, some may be having Braj Bhav more, some may be more, in Mahaprabhu's Bhav, some may be more focusing on preaching, some may be focusing more on Dham Vas or temple worship. So all these aspects are very, very glorious. So we should not think that, okay, they will have, if they have a difference of opinion, then that's a cause of strain. No, at that level they know how to handle these differences of opinion and still be very, very cordial and very loving towards each other. See, when we see the great sannyasis of ISKCON, when they meet each other, it is so beautiful. Just seeing them, how they greet each other, how much love they have and respect they have for each other. That itself is, it's so sweet, and there is so much to learn from them. So Srila Prabhupada here is telling us that how one transforms if one takes to the process of chanting and avoiding offenses, then how one transforms from Kanishta to Madhyam to Uttam, where one reaches a stage where one is able to fully understand that there is no difference between Lord Krishna's names and Lord Krishna himself. Then in the next paragraph, we were reading that when Srila Satyaraj Khan was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, and the Lord had said that if one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Now, here in this regard, I was hearing a lecture by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and he was saying that when we read Satyaraj Khan and Ramachandra Khan in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, we know that this surname Khan is generally for Muslims, right? So this doubt can come that how are they, devotees? How are they? What is their position, and how are they devotees of Lord Chaitanya? So Prabhu was explaining that at that time in society, because there was a lot of influence of Muslims because of the Muslim ruling, Muslims were ruling, right? So Muslim rulership. So because of their influence, many families would have a title kind of, which was a Muslim name. And sometimes this title was given by Muslim rulers also on some families. Okay, but they were actually Hindus. No? They would sometimes take Muslim names as a social convention. So, like when Prabhupada's family name was Day, right? Prabhupada was Abhaycharan Day. But when we read Prabhupada's pastimes, Prabhupada's family was coming in the family of Maliks. Now, Malik is also a Muslim surname, but that title was given to the family by some Muslim leader. So they carried that title, but they were actually Hindus, right? They had a temple where Prabhupada used to go, they have darshan. So Satyaraj Khan is a Hindu, and like the family of Maliks, they were also Hindus. So he's asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that what is how can we recognize a Vaishnav, a devotee? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that if one hears a person say even once the name of Krishna, I mean, that is so, I mean, it is such a strong statement because the name of Krishna is so powerful that if one is in such a position that they are hearing Krishna's names, then they are also respectable. They are also Shrestha amongst those who never even chant or hear Krishna's names once. Right? There are so many people, we say Hare Krishna, we greet them as Hare Krishna. They are not even able to greet us back as Hare Krishna. I mean, Hare Krishna is such a sweet and simple thing, also, they are not able to utter. So there are so many such people also, and there are so many people who have not even heard Krishna's names once. So out of them, this whole class, someone who's hearing Krishna's name even once, that person is also Shrestha, that person is also respectable. And devotees, because they are in that advanced mood, they know how powerful Krishna's name is. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that even if there is an article which is criticizing our movement, if they have Krishna's name coming again and again, that is also good, because at least people will read Krishna's names because they know the purifying effect of Krishna's names. So even if one has written an article where they are criticizing ISKCON, someone who's reading this is at least reading Krishna's names. Okay, and then they will have purification. So the point is that there are different forums, and a devotee should see the good in everything, and they were able to see good in everything. Like Srila Prabhupada at his time, that movie, Devanand's movie had come, where they were chanting Hare Krishna, that made actually chanting of Hare Krishna popular, but they were showing devotees in a very derogatory manner. No, it was not very respectful and it was misinterpreted. But Prabhupada said that at least Hare Krishna is becoming popular. No? So they know, Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they know the importance of the purification effect of Krishna's name. So they're seeing that good there also. Yes, we should respond when then something like this happens. And devotees had approached Devanand, and I've heard His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj actually say in a lecture that Devanand had apologized to ISKCON also because of the wrong depiction of devotees that he had shown in the movie. But the point is that even if someone is able to hear it once, read Krishna's names once, they are better as compared to the mass of the people. Okay, but we should not just be satisfied with that. That, oh, okay, someone who's hearing once is also glorious. I am chanting so many times. So, okay, I'm just, let's just be totally complacent. No, we should not be satisfied just with that. And we should also try to make others feel inspired to go beyond that. If they've heard it once, we should inspire them to chant. If they've chanted once, we should inspire them to chant more. If someone is there in a book distribution, on a book distribution day, someone has taken a book, we should try to inspire them to do more, read more, come to the temple, chant. So, yes, it's very glorious, but we should not just stop there. We should try to go further. And then Lord Chaitanya had continued that one who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's names, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. So that's why we are told that as soon as we enter the temple, we should offer respect to all the devotees present there. Now, some of them may have come the very first time, but at least they came. That itself is so great. We have to understand the importance of these things. And at least in our mind, we should give them respect. So, the very basic starting thing that we should do to everyone that we are seeking in our congregation, in our temples, is that we should be very, very respectful. Now, whether we are offering obeisances physically, whether we are rendering personal service to them, that comes later. That is for Madhyam and Uttam devotees. But respect is for everyone. And we should smile at everyone. We should say Hare Krishna to everyone. This is our way of showing respect to others. Okay. So anyone, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that who's chanting the holy name of Krishna, such a person is a Vaishnava and must be respected. And Prabhupada, in this regard, is speaking about famous English musician. So, who is Prabhupada talking about? What is his name? Very famous musician.
Is it
I'm sure.
George Harrison Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. George Harrison from the Beatles group. Yes. So George Harrison Prabhu was a rock musician. I mean, a popular musician, and he had his own band. Beatles were very, very famous at that time. And when Prabhupada's 6 disciples, they went from US to London to start the preaching of Krishna consciousness there. Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Malti Mataji, their daughter Saraswati, Jamuna Mataji, Gurudas Prabhu, and Janki Mataji, and Mukunda Prabhu. So they went, and for them it was a very uphill task because very little money, and no contacts in London. But they thought that at this time, this culture of music is very, very famous. The Beatles are very famous. So if we befriend them, if we become friends with the Beatles, then that is really going to put ISKCON somewhere high up in the society. People are going to notice us. And Jamuna Mataji was telling once that their record company where they would bring out their records, because at that time it was not CDs and all, right? It was records. So Mataji was saying that it was the name of the company was Apple Records. So they were trying to make contacts there so they could meet the Beatles. So these devotees, these six devotees, they would every day cook some dish with apples, some apple dish, whether it was a pie or a cookie or a cake, something with apples in it. And they would go there daily to the Apple Records office and try to make friends. And they were distributing prasadam in this way. And finally, they got in touch with George Harrison Prabhu and the other Beatles also. They all were very favorable towards this con, but George Harrison Prabhu was the most sincere of them all. And like here, Prabhupada is saying that, he has taken to the chanting of the holy name. And even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. So there was one very famous CD at that time, My Sweet Lord. And even our Govindam Adipurisham that we hear every day in the morning, that was recorded by George Harrison Prabhu with the Apple Records office by Jamuna Mataji singing. Because that is so beautiful. We see his level of commitment towards ISKCON. And even though he was not formally initiated by Srila Prabhupada, yet Prabhupada was very, 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 very loving towards him. He was very respectful and loving towards ISKCON devotees. And actually, in his public programs, he had, openly started asking people to chant Hare Krishna. But some of them criticized him that he's using his status or his position to promote his faith. So he asked Prabhupada about it that, for one person that I'm influencing positively, there are many others who I'm sending away because people are criticizing Hare Krishna chanting. So Prabhupada told him that you use your intelligence. And if you cannot publicly write about Krishna, then you write about him in a discreet way. So Prabhupada understood the situation, he respected the situation, and how a person inspires another person to be a devotee can be very different. Sometimes it may not be very active preaching that is inspiring someone. Sometimes just by our behavior, someone can get inspired. Sometimes by how happy we look, we can inspire someone to become a devotee. And in this regard, I remember the example of a Mataji. Uh, she was in one place in Middle East, and her husband was not favorable towards Krishna consciousness. She took to Krishna consciousness very seriously. Husband was not favorable, and husband was not very good towards her also. But she said that she would tell our senior Mataji that, Mataji, I have to be happy, and I should look happy because my children are then going to see me, and they will see one parent who is not a devotee, and they will see another parent who is a devotee. And if I am the happier of the two, they will also want to be like me. They will also take to Krishna consciousness. I mean, this is so sweet and such a deep and beautiful thought, isn't it? A mother who can actually inspire her children by actually being happy, and Krishna consciousness is making us happier. So if we let go of all the misconceptions, all the problems we may be having with devotees, and understand what a great gift we have been given, and we appear joyful, then that also is a great motivating factor for everyone, right? So it can be very, very different. For some we have to just probably keep giving them prasad year after year after year, and then they'll come to Krishna consciousness. Some take to Krishna consciousness very fast. Some become devotees with just one visit to temple, hearing one lecture, they get so inspired. So it's going to be different for different people, but the point is that we have to understand that this process is important, and anyone who is following this process should always be shown respect. So George Harrison Prabhu, even though he was not formally initiated, still he should be given a lot of respect. And he was given a lot of respect. I have heard that in his last days, he had come to America, and he was staying in a very quiet place. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu, His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu, had gone there to be with him in his last days. So we understand, and they were friends from the 70s, Shyam Sundar Prabhu and George Harrison Prabhu. And Prabhupada actually once told him that you are actually Hari's son, Harry's son, right? So you are Hari's son. So we know that just because someone is not initiated, or we someone has not spent so many years in the movement, we cannot just be judgmental about them, because bhakti is a very, very deep rooted feeling. Bhakti is very subtle, and some may not actually depict it. And actually the advanced devotees, don't make a show of their bhakti, right? They don't show all these bodily symptoms in front of us, or they don't start crying in front of us. So we don't know, but they're in their heart, they are so deeply attached to Krishna. So we have to give respect to everyone. We have to understand that the level of bhakti cannot be seen just by the external. So we should not be judgmental of anyone, because there is that big risk of committing Vaishnava Prad. And Prabhupada is saying that the conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, there are people, Prabhupada is saying that some contemporaries who were supposed to be great preachers, but they fell down because they were not chanting the holy name of the Lord. So we see that our gurus, even Prabhupada, when he would go on the morning walk, he would be chanting so nicely, and he was inspiring others to chant. And Prabhupada is saying that anyone who's chanting with is going to advance in Krishna consciousness. We should give them that respect. And chanting is so very important, because people may be great preachers externally, but if they are not chanting, then there is definitely the fall down that will come. So this is our strength, the chanting of the names of Krishna. This is our strength. And like I mentioned earlier, Prabhupada has made this process so simple for us. From 64 rounds, he has brought it to 16, because he knows that our mind is so unstable. We need to keep it occupied. So Prabhupada has given us such wonderful services also. So through these services, through the hearing of the lectures, through these wonderful books, through chanting, through association, through these wonderful festivals, all this is our safe place, right? And in this we have to understand that we have been gifted with the association of devotees. So we should be very, very careful never to offend anyone, and give the proper respect to everyone. Okay, so we'll stop there. If there are any questions, any comments, any realizations you would like to share.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
It is very true, I think, Mataji. Western people, they cannot concentrate more. We see in our India, all the Rishimunis, they did meditation for years together. Even the demon, Hiranyakashipu, he
They
did,
would, yeah.
yes,
True,
Mataji,
true.
and he got boon from Brahmaji.
Yes,
So,
Mataji.
and even the children, Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, they were so small and they did so many austerities, and then they meditated like that without food, without breathing also, Dhruva Maharaj did it. So we
They did.
cannot imagine also that. It's very much true. We are blessed now, Mataji, to be in India.
Very true, Mataji. But you know, the sad thing is now we are thinking that Westerners are better than us. We are trying to
Yes, yes,
imitate them. So we are also losing our, most precious things. So we should understand that, like you said, we are very lucky. We are born in this Bhumi, Bharat Bhumi. So
yes,
yeah, we should
Mataji.
keep reminding ourselves and the next generation to
Yes,
not take this lightly, and never think that we are inferior and we have to copy the Westerners.
yes,
Westerners are actually taking to Krishna
yes, yes.
consciousness so nicely. We see all in Kumbh, there were some videos circulated of some Matajis, some Westerner Matajis in very nice sari, even with head covered, and then they are
Yes,
coming at.
Mataji. They dress up so nicely with saris.
But there are some Indians, some Indian
Who
girls
wear,
who were
yes,
very badly dressed.
yes, yes.
So we have to really understand that these are very sad things that are happening in our society, and we have to really understand what our correct values are and keep following that, Mataji. Very right,
Srila
nice point.
Prabhupada, Guruji says, once they asked, it seems, in America, why you have come to America? So
Yeah,
Prabhupada says, they have taken everything from us, but you have left Bhagavad Gita, so I have come to give you that one to you. So it's
true,
like that.
true. Yes, Mataji. Yes, yes, yes. So we have to understand our precious wealth and
Yes, Mataji.
value
Yes.
it. Yeah.
At least now at the end of our life we have started. You people have started earlier, and we,
Of course. That's what now, Mataji, number of years doesn't matter. How seriously you take it, that's what matters. Yeah.
we are
So
so
all
lucky,
glories to
Mataji.
Srila Prabhupada.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
very lucky. We are very
We are
lucky.
good speakers like you all, and we are.
Mm.
I feel very blessed, Mataji. When you see all of you, I feel very happy. Thank you,
Just
Mataji.
repeating what I've heard, Mataji. Just trying to repeat and trying to learn myself.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. Sure.
All your
Sure.
help. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining. So thank you. We'll end the session. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubheva पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री उपदेशामृत की जय श्रील रूप गोस्वामी की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम थैंक यू